Lara's latest artifact hunting actioner is finally here. Here are 7 things we wish we knew before playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Lara's latest adventure has arrived. Once again, she's back to pilfer priceless artifacts, cause apocalypse answers in the comments people, and murder as many goons as possible without feeling even remotely guilty. She might not have her dual pistols, yes, where did they go? But in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Ms. Croft has even more deadly additions to her arsenal, and she can even smear mud in her face and go pure predator. However, that doesn't mean that some handy pointers aren't necessary before she heads into the jungle. Here are the 7 things we wish we knew before playing Shadow of the Tomb Raider. So it turns out that in Lara's world, nothing is set dressing. Those lovely fluttering birds, those hopping frogs, nope, they're not just there to make the jungle look beautiful and reinforce your choice of graphics cards. They're there for the murdering, and they all come in useful. It turns out that in a lovely circle of life way, birds will relent feathers that you can use for arrows and outfits, and animals will shed useful hide. See, it's not cold-blooded slaughter if you can make a suit out of it, right, Cruella de Vil? Oh, and don't just kill the tiny frogs with arrows. You need to get your knife to get poison out of them, and it just looks really depressing. See? A good way to test if you can kill something for slaughter, not sport, is turning on survival instinct. Everything useful will glow yellow, and it'll also show you where the nearest plants and trees are for medicine, potion supplies, and hardwood for arrows. You can thankfully craft these on the fly, as there's no campfires kicking around midway through a jaguar fight. It's best to get used to heading into an area and just turning on this view. Salvage is key to weapon upgrades, and there's nothing quite as satisfying as arriving at a base camp and being able to upgrade every little part of all your weapons for increased damage, all because you spent a little longer pottering around finding things. You are a Tomb Raider after all, plus everything you pick up earns you XP and thus skill points. Lara's handy survival instinct skill isn't just good for finding out what you can make coats out of. This is a seriously handy skill if you're going for the stealthy predator approach instead of heading in all guns blazing. Keep switching to Lara's special view of the world and you'll see which enemies can see each other and which are right for the headshot picking. Unfortunate foes lit up in yellow are very much on their own, meaning you can blend in with a wall and pick them off without anyone suspecting a thing. Goons lit up in red though can be spotted and will blow your cover entirely. If they don't look like they're moving and you desperately want to be heard, throw a distraction object like a Molotov and you can split them up for some satisfyingly sneaky murder. It's also worth noting here that you can use survival instinct to see which trees you can clamber up for some death from above. There will probably also be birds' nests up there, complete with feathers for arrows. If you're one of those people that hates underwater sections with a burning passion, probably only put out by very real H2O, join the Aquaphobic Club. But unfortunately, Lara insists on diving into claustrophobic caverns, complete with eels and piranhas. What really helps though is if the first skills you pick are water and swimming based. The Cayman's speed ability hands over much needed faster swimming, and when you can afford it, the Cayman's breath skill means Lara can hold her pixelated breath for longer. These come in exceptionally handy when you have to go underwater for long periods of time and really don't want the intrepid explorer to have to be as stressed as you are holding your breath. Yes, you do have to do underwater stealth sections with piranhas, so get those skills, stay out of their beady eye line and stay in the reeds at the bottom. Also, keep an eye out for trapped air pockets. There are actually more than you think, and if you keep using that survival instinct, you'll know where the toothy blighters are. Shadow of the Tomb Raider's mix of linear narrative and open world hubs means that there's a lot to explore and you'll definitely miss things the first time around. It's not even possible to complete everything if you wanted to, as some tombs require certain weapons in order to participate. Like a ruler at a ride entrance saying how tall you have to be, these are clearly labelled and you can come back to them later once you have the right skills and equipment. The fastest way to jump back and forth across the map is using base camps. These fires stay magically lit once you've sat there, so always settle down when you find one. Even if you don't have skills to upgrade or weapons to upgrade, you'll probably want to use it as a fast travel point later. Map-wise, it's also important to keep an eye out for explorer backpacks. We won't think about what's happened to their previous owners, but these are absolutely vital to finding even more caches of items, treasure and generally useful loot. Find one and all of these items will appear helpfully on your map. Everything you find and everything you look at will reward you with XP, so definitely don't wander past any interesting notes, artifacts or monoliths. If it's got a magnifying glass hovering over it, get reading and get that precious XP. So it turns out that even in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, everything is squishy in the middle, and there's a seriously time-saving method for getting your animal murder on if you have a good eye. Purchase the Alipa's sight ability in the Seeker section of the skill tree, and you'll get a good view of large animals' hearts when you're in survival instinct mode and aiming with your arrow, because, well, science, that's a serious weak point, and if you get your arrow in just the right spot, you'll do huge amounts of damage, giving you more time to find things and less time feeling guilty every time you draw back your bow. It's worth noting here too that you will increase your bow damage with upgrades, so the more you collect, the better your weapons will become, but having a view of a vital organ is always a gory helping hand. If all of this is sounding a bit too easy, it's time to head to the difficulty menu. Unlike most games, there's actually multiple different options available. You can be a novice Tomb Raider and turn everything down to easy if you just want to hang out with Lara for hours, or crank everything into overdrive and turn the combat, exploration and puzzle difficulty up to maximum. That you can switch each of these independently is a nice touch, and means that even if you don't fancy goons being a nightmare to kill, you can still make sure your tomb puzzle experiences are Da Vinci Code levels of tricksy. It also means that if halfway through you're bored of having to work things out, you can still always get back to taking down hard as nails enemies. See, even tomb raiding is all about balance.
Damn, I should have known.
And finally, it's time to bore your friends with endless screenshots and photos of Lara in her many adventures. Dive into photographer mode in the menu, and there's a wealth of options where you can change filters, add frames, switch out the field of view, and make it generally look like an exciting Instagram adventure instead of a brutal race against the end of the world. And if you've checked out PC Gamer's article on making Lara look like she's on a gap year having fun, you might also have seen that you can change Lara's facial expression to address the situation. Sure, you could look neutral, but why would you pose in the jungle and try not to look happy, disgusted or sad for your various social media accounts? Photo mode also comes into its own with the different outfits you can pop Lara in. You won't want her in low poly classic Tomb Raider 2 mode all the time, as there's sneakily no benefits compared to the craftable outfits, but there's nothing quite like heading into Peru looking like your favourite Lara who you sent diving into the ground at every opportunity. Yes, at least you can say sorry in pixelated person. Sorry, Lara.
Maybe you just need to rest.
So that's it, the 7 things we wish we'd known before starting Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Let us know if you've got any tips for Lara in the comments below, drop us a like if you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe to Logitech G for more features and videos just like this one.